Well folks, it's been a very long time since I posted a video on my little channel, and I do hope that people didn't think I'd forgotten about everybody that's subscribed, so I'll tell you what it is. I don't know, have you ever been in a position where your job's rubbish, you end up working all the hours God sends, and you end up feeling absolutely worn out when it comes to Friday, and you haven't even got the energy to put your washing out on the washing line? Been stuck in that for a while, and it kind of saps your creativity, and I ended up living to work as opposed to working to live. So big decision time. Not that I'm regaling you with my personal things, but I've decided that I'm going to take it a lot easier from now on, which means I can devote more time to doing videos and my little channel. So here it is. Just been out on the Interceptor 650, my tangerine dream, and as you can see, everything is still looking good. So I thought I'd give just a little update on the various mods that I did on this channel, which quite a few people have done. So here's some thoughts on that. Okay, fluctuating speedo needle. Having done a fix on it and done a video on how to do it, my speedo started fluctuating again, and at great risk to life and limb, I was driving along and waggling the wire where it goes around the steering head. No, wasn't that. I then took the headlamp off and checked there was none of that duck fat grease on the connector, the block connector, which there wasn't, but I sprayed it with some deoxit terminal cleaner anyway. And eventually I thought, well, let's go and have a look at that repair, that splicing in of new cable. So if you look here, you can see I've had to use self-amalgamating tape, which is actually pretty good. So I checked these, and what had happened was, it's a 3-core cable. This is industrial sensor wire, so it's meant to move up and down and be flexible, with machines sort of zooming about doing things. However, it was the actual join where I'd soldered it onto the 3 wires coming out of here. So close up, it doesn't look that attractive. However, when you see it in context, it's fine. So it cured it. So if you have done that repair and you solder the 3 wires together all the way to the top, if your needle starts fluctuating again, it's more than likely to be the actual connections at the bottom. There is a certain amount of waggle on it, here, but it's only a magnetic sensor. That's all it is. So it can't go wrong. There's nothing in there that can go wrong in that sensor, other than if you bash it hard and it loses its magnetism, or if you heat it, which obviously you don't do. So just for now, what I've done is I've soldered the wires back together, put the self-amalgamating tape on because I hadn't got any proper insulating tape, and it's pretty good stuff actually, off eBay. So other modifications, and this is a genuine update here. If they're rubbish, I'll tell you. Brake pedal mod. Mike Reddy loves this one, don't you, Mike? Absolutely bang on. Nothing untoward about that whatsoever. It hasn't come off. As you can see, it clamps on. I did a separate video about that. Absolutely perfect. I prefer it so much more than the sort of gear change lever type thing. Okay, what else have we got? Panniers, still going strong. Royal Enfield ones, actually on the Enfield rack, so they come off dead easy. Now, I'm quite surprised actually, because the chrome is quite thin on those rails, but they haven't rusted. As I say, they are good. They're good panniers because you can get the things off quickly. It's only a little clip, and then it just slides off, and there it is. And they've survived really well, actually. And the bike's got soaking wet. I've used it in all sorts of different weathers. So update on that, fine. The panniers themselves, they tend to fade along the top with sun, but who cares really? They are, at the end of the day, panniers. I'm really pleased with them. TEC shocks. Well, the only downside of these is that if you don't spray the springs with WD, they can rust like anything. But that's all I did, just sprayed them. Still going strong, not a problem at all. Painted side panels, no issues there. I did the seat nacelle as well, or the seat cowl at the back, which I'm very pleased with, still going strong. Okay, what else did we do? FJ 1200 switchgear, totally awesome. CX 500 export throttle and switchgear, absolutely the same, uses the standard cables. As I mentioned in the installation video for this, I didn't like the switches on the bike. I don't like the plastic switches, I think they feel tacky and horrible. And actually, when I took them to pieces, they're like, each of the switches is like a tiny Morse code switch, you know, really primitive. And I didn't like the feel of the indicators either. Whereas with the FJ 1200 switchgear, it's cast alloy, and I use the original wiring, as you know if you've seen the video, and absolutely bang on. Now I've now done 7,500 miles on the bike, so you know it's still looking good. My modification for the gear lever, putting a bearing in, again subject of a video, is still working absolutely fine. It's got very little play in it. Same goes for the roses that I put on the actual stainless steel gear change linkage. So that is functioning absolutely perfectly. The X-ring chain is still fine, not excessively worn. I think, oh yeah, of course there was the YSS fork kit, which I did quite a series of videos on about that. Well, it's still absolutely brilliant. I mean, it's just, I don't even touch the adjuster up there. So I would say, as an update, I know that Mike's going to pick up on this fork brace here. No, Mike, I haven't painted it black yet. I haven't. To be honest, as I said earlier when I started this video, I just went totally off the boil. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that, but you know, when you end up stuck in some kind of mental swamp, usually caused by overwork, being undervalued, and probably wanting to retire, I think. But there you go. So it's all over, folks. I'm going to be posting some more videos. I've got a little project I want to do on this, but as things stand, everything is bang on. Now I know that Mike mentioned he'd had a bit of an issue with his front brake not being particularly efficient really, and he suggested that I do a video on changing the pads to EBC brake pads. Now at the moment mine's okay, but I think I will do a little video on that. It's not difficult to do. Forgive me if I'm preaching to the converted or people who already know what they're doing, but I'll put a little video on just how to do that, because I'm going to replace those pads. As you possibly know from other videos, I've got two bikes. I've got my Interceptor, and I've got a 23-year-old Honda Pan-European, which I bought because it was round the corner, 5 miles away, and it was cheap actually. It's fantastic. It's only got 45,000 miles on it. So I'm using them both. I've just literally been out on this one and the Interceptor, and everything on it is absolutely fine. As you'll know from a previous video, I removed the EVAP system totally. It used to live in there on a little shelf near the swinging arm. Don't know if you can see it. Right there. Ow, the pipe's hot. It's right in there. So it's all gone. Everything's fine, works perfectly. I've had no engine management lights on. I've had absolutely no problem starting the bike. And as I said in the video when I installed or deinstalled it, you know, it was an absolute pain to start the bike and stalling and, oh, dreadful. I nearly got rid of the bike. And it turned out to be the EVAP. So there you go. I'm just looking at other mods that I've done on my videos. Stainless steel everything. So you'll notice, I mean, I actually very carefully jet washed the bike the other day. I don't go blasting water into bearing seals and electronics and stuff, but I did give it a good soaking. And there's just no corrosion because of all those parts, fasteners being stainless. You know, it took a bit of doing, you can see that. But they're all stainless, so you don't get rust. As I say, the only place that you do get rust is the shocker springs at the back if you know, don't put WD on them, which I can live with. Now, you'll notice I've got the standard exhaust system on, and as you'll possibly know from previous videos, I'm not a fan of noisy bikes. I live on quite a main road. If you look over there, you'll just see the traffic going past in a minute. There we go. It's the main road out the town, look. So, you know, bikes that make a hell of a racket aren't my thing. I'm not a proponent of the loud pipes save lives. I think loud pipes pee people off, quite frankly. I don't like them, so I've left the standard cans on. But what I would say is they have become less quiet. They're not loud, but they definitely have sort of bedded in. They seem to be, I won't use the word noisier because that's, you know, not the way to describe them. They become less quiet, which I don't mind. I like the fact they have I think they've got catalytic converters on them in those downpipes. I like them. And on a previous bike, I replaced the headers with stainless steel, which of course are single skinned, and I noticed a very great increase in noise, valve noise, you know. On a long run, I think a droning loud bike means you've got to put earplugs in. So there we go, I've left them on, I've left these standard cans on, and I'm happy with them. It's just sailed through the MOT with zero work, of course, and of course things like the stainless handlebars, which are still shiny, you know, there's no rust on them. So apart from this recurring, and it only did it recently, that speedo cable, it's definitely the cable, it's not the speedo. As I say, it started fluctuating, then it stopped working entirely, and I thought, well, my video that I'd posted must have been a load of rubbish. I was quite, you know, I thought, well, I've misled people. Anyway, on closer investigation, it's definitely that. It's as it banging up and down. I think the soldering wasn't very good. It's very fine wire, and it's completely cured it. So there we have it. No adverse nothing. I've managed to keep the shiny side up, live to tell the tale, and come out of the dark tunnel that I've been in for several, well, I reckon about 6 months, which really kind of, you know, takes the joy out of life. Well, yeah, I'm back. So enough of that. There it is, everything's fine. I'm going to be starting posting again now that I've got lots more leisure time. I'll post about the Enfield Interceptor, of course, and I'll also do some little videos about the Pan-European if anybody's interested. And in the meantime, weather's good, well, moderate. So if you're out on your bike, take care, keep it shiny side up, and feel free to post any comments. You can tell me what a bore I am if you wish, and in the meantime, stay safe.